Hey guys, welcome back to the Dustin Dean channel. I am Dustin Dean, and today we're doing something a little bit different. Interview with this young lady, and this has to deal with CPS. Would you want to introduce yourself?
My name's Randy. I go by Randy Sue, and this here.
Hey, how old are you?
You say I'm going to be 3 in March.
Ooh, you got your tractors out. So it's kind of interesting how we met up. Is I walked into a store and she recognized me from YouTube, and she just kind of came up to me and says, "Hey, we share something in common."
CPS social worker.
CPS social worker, and so we just kind of talked about that, and I asked her if she'd be willing to do an interview. The purpose of this interview is to educate you guys and kind of help you know your rights, and so we'll just go on with this. So with the why did they come here in the first place?
To be truthful, what they said was it was for alcohol, wild parties that we were having our kids in wild parties, and drugs, specifically alcohol, marijuana, that we were having outrageous parties. Alcohol and marijuana. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it was kind of interesting because I knew from situations that arose, like I knew that we were being investigated, but nobody had come, nobody had asked me anything.
The accusation was wild parties, alcohol, and marijuana. And so this is where it gets interesting. This is kind of where I get upset is they don't just come over here and ask questions and want to see if your child's healthy or not. It's just the way they approach it. They came here. How did they come here when they came here?
So when it was the feller that you're dealing with, and he showed up with 2 officers.
2 officers.
And I mean, looking at me and my big bad self, like he was smart to do that.
Yeah.
So he showed up with 2 officers, and like at first, like this is the big thing I want everybody to know is, in a small town, when people like you knock on your door, you're all, "Oh yeah, sure, come in, excuse the mess." Instead of you guys being like, "Oh, we've been there, we've been in there," they don't accept your not excuses, your reasons for the way things are. They don't. They're out to get you.
Right.
Like you could be like, "Oh, so and so fell off a stool and got a bump," or I was bottling that day. My kitchen was full of dishes because I was bottling. And those of you who are homesteaders, for example, things get messy. You have tools, you use things. So
right, yeah, exactly right. So you've probably been educated a lot since this time. You kind of more aware of how evil the CPS is in that branch of government. I'm not saying all government's bad, but this section definitely needs to be retooled. And you've probably learned a lot since then. So did you invite, they came in your home?
Well, it was kind of a give me a minute, and I stepped inside because my sister was still here, and she pulled him in his room and was playing with him. And yeah, I left the door open, and they were just standing in my living room, just kind of standing there. And the one made a comment because I was making salsa, and the one officer was all, "Oh, it smells really good." And that's when Mark was all, "So aside from the alcohol, we've heard that you guys have marijuana use," and I was all, "Marijuana use?" And he's all, "Furthermore, growing." And I kind of knew where it was going because there was a situation from beforehand, and I was all, "Oh, you know what? Again, like thinking it was a small town, I know exactly why you're here. Like I can explain this. I can put your feelings at ease." And I showed him. And then, like, I thought everything was good and gold, and they got ready to leave, and one of the police officers straight out told me, he's all, "We have something on you." And that's when it hit me. I was all, "They're not here for explanations. They think I have something." Like, and he was lying to me. I knew that was a flat lie, because we haven't done anything. No. So it was a flat lie.
And the marijuana turned out to be your growing, because she's a homesteader, and it's turned out to be what?
A tomato plant.
Tomato plant.
And I have the pepper plant still alive too, if you want to see that after. I still have the pepper plant.
Still have the pepper plant?
Yeah, I still have the tomato plant died, but I still have the pepper plant. It was more than one plant, so, but...
You didn't smoke the tomato plant.
No, I think that's kind of interesting.
Cops, started harassing you a little bit after, I mean, you got pulled over.
Yeah. So I was on my way, and it was fairly early in the morning, but I was on my way to see my grandfather. And one of them pulled me over and was all, "Did you know you were speeding?" And if I was, I honestly didn't notice. What I found odd about that is I never speed on that particular road. It's dark, it's late, there's no street lamps, and deer, as you've seen from my car out front, deer are common. And
yeah, she's got a Saturn with it. I walked by it, I'm like, oh, and I saw the hair sticking out the front of the hood, smashed in hood.
Yeah, that deer are not nice to vehicles. But he pulled me over and was all, "Did you know you were speeding?" I was all, "If I was, like, I really didn't pay attention." He's all, "Oh, you were just getting up to speed?" And I was all, "Yeah." I didn't have my license on me, but he ran my information, and he's all, "Where are you going? What are you doing? Do you have anybody with you? Can you roll down your windows? Can you open?" I had a wad of tinfoil on my dashboard, and he's all, "Could you please open it? It's just consistent with drug use. Can we search your vehicle? Can we search your vehicle?" And I was like, "No." Finally, he let me go.
What about the windows? So one of the things that a little cop trick that they use is they want you to open your windows down fully, and usually both sides of the windows, so that way they have probable cause. And what that gives them is they can say they smelt something in there, and that gives them probable cause to search your whole car. And you weren't giving them probable cause. You weren't rolling down your window.
Like, it might have smelled like coffee, and I rolled my window down and then my back window. That's all I rolled down.
Okay.
And after all, he didn't even leave. He didn't give me a warning or anything. No paper or anything. He just let me go.
Just let you go.
Yeah. So I was all, "That's really suspicious."
And was he one of the cops that came here?
I think he wasn't the one that came here, but I recognized the vehicle that he was in, and we have dealt with them before with a previous issue.
Right.
So.
That's something I've noticed is that the cops all know who I am now just through my channel.
Yeah.
It's kind of, so they all talk. I mean, it's so you've gotten pulled over. Was that just that one time or more than? There's
been a couple times where I noticed them lingering, but after that I haven't really noticed them bugging me too much after that.
Right. I kind of feel like that's a form of harassment. So you're got some awesome toys.
Got those toddlers.
This one's cool. Oh, I get distracted easily. Okay.
That's great.
And so some of the things I kind of want to go over and talk about is now everybody kind of understands the history between Mark Combs. What I'm trying to establish is that he's crooked. I don't have a very high opinion about really any child protective social workers, and the point I want to make is a lot of people are going to say they're not all bad, and I disagree with that, because if the good, why don't the good ones turn into bad ones? This doesn't happen. It's usually someone like me and you who's upset because they try to take our kids from us, and we expose them, and it's not until then that they get in trouble. So some of the things I would like to talk about is how to prevent CPS, how to handle CPS next time. Is there anything that you wish you would have done differently had they came over here, versus what you did?
Yeah, it's when it comes to them, it's not small town. "Oh, hey, how you doing? Come in, let me share a glass of tea with you. I just baked some fresh cookies." But it's, "Do you have a warrant? Do you have probable cause? Get off my property. Leave."
Right.
It's not a don't sit down and try to visit. Like, it's not like that at all, which is exactly what I tried to do.
They're not your friend. They're not your friend.
And don't get me wrong, like I had heard, I didn't know as much as I do now. Like, watching your channel and talking to other people, I don't know as much as I do now. But then I wasn't as scared of them as I am now. Then I was just wary of them. I'd heard horror stories, and that's all they were, is horror stories until it happens to you.
Right.
So.
Right. I'm with you on that. I knew very little. Until it happened to us, then you start studying in. And then you're just like, wow, this is scary. It's very scary. A lawyer told me that they're not your friend, and he advised. He said this is from what a lawyer told me, is that when they come over, show them your kids are healthy. Don't let your kids even talk to them. They don't have no right to question your kids. Just show them that. Say, hey, look, they're healthy. That's all you need to know. Now you just took, what the lawyer says, now you just took probable cause out the window. They no longer. And then just tell them, good day, come back with a warrant, and that's it. And so...
That's interesting, because I have friends that are cops, many friends that are cops, surprisingly after this. But
yeah, I do too. We're not bashing. I mean, yeah, exactly.
But one of my friends, we were talking, and she's all, it's a good thing you didn't let them in. Like, yes, they like were in there and they stood there, but she's all, it's a good thing you didn't let them walk around. She wouldn't tell me why, but she's all, it's a good thing you didn't let them look at your house. Don't let them look at your house. Do not ever let them look in your house. And I was all, okay. And that is coming from a cop herself. So
right. I've talking to whistleblowers who used to work for Child Protective Services, and he says that in his training that he would go. They're trained, if there's a couple of dishes in your sink, the report would be that the sink is piled with filthy dishes, and it's just the wording. If your trash, if something is half full, the trash is piled up of horrid stink, whatever. They just make it really bad. Yeah, and then like even that video with that CPS video, he kept saying bizarre. Oh, this is so bizarre. This is strange. And what he's doing is he's trying to build a case to go towards the judge and say this is not normal.
As of right now, it's closed. I'm fairly sure. I'm very confident that it's closed. And by the God, can I just take a moment to complain about how long it takes them for paperwork? Oh my gosh, the paperwork. So anyway, as of late, we haven't heard anything. They haven't interviewed any of our children. That they tried. Well, they asked to, which is rare for them. We haven't, there's nothing. I haven't been harassed by the police officers. I haven't heard a knock on my door, and it's been a while. But every day since then, I've woken up wondering if they're going to be back, and like wondering if my dirty laundry piling up isn't going to get my kids taken away.
That's no way to live.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fear, living in fear, and I know exactly what you're talking about, and I'm sure there's thousands upon thousands of people watching this who've been a victim of CPS and know exactly what you're talking about, that we live in this fear. Do we dare hang our laundry outside on the clothesline? I mean, just we don't know, because we do know that they can find literally anything, and I mean everybody's guilty of this, and they can walk into your house and they'll find something and try to take your kids over it. So we live in this fear, and this is why we don't back down to them and give them any right. We have rights. We need to protect our rights.
Yeah, I agree. They are not your friends.
Right now.
Don't try to explain it away. Don't try to explain how little Jimmy got that bump on his head or that bruise on his thigh. Don't explain Jack. It's not your job. Do you have a warrant? Go away.
That is really great advice.
That is my biggest mistake, because I honestly treated it like a small town, like, oh, come in, like, how you doing?
And don't you feel like that ow, it's biting me, ow, it's attacking me. You're the awesomest.
Did you hear that? You can't say Stegosaurus. What is this? What is this called? What is it? Is it a Stegosaurus?
Stegosaurus?
It's not, they're not your friends. Don't treat them like your friends. Don't try to explain anything. You don't have to.
Yeah, don't you feel like that that you were, like, you gotta prove your innocence, like you're guilty until you,
Then that's exactly what we were talking about earlier.
In America, you're supposed to be, you're innocent until proven guilty, but they come here that you're guilty, now prove your innocence to me, and then you felt like a criminal.
I did.
And that had to prove yourself.
And I have nothing on my record. I've never had anything on my record.
So you prove your innocence to them, and now you guys need to know that it's not your job to prove your innocence. It's their job to prove that you're guilty. And they're here not to build a case for you, but against you. And you're not going to help them with that. You're not going to help these guys build a case against you. Show them your kids are healthy. Tell them to take a hike. Come back with a warrant. And then a question. I know I get this all the time. People are going to tell you, get a lawyer. Get a lawyer. Get a lawyer. And I've talked to several lawyers, and they say you don't need a lawyer until they come back with a warrant. When they come back with a warrant and they search your house, then get a lawyer.
Yeah, I see that.
Huge collection of them.
One of the things I find so funny is when we were, not me and you interviewing, but when they were here asking me questions about this, they were asking about my look out for that tomato plant, man, but they were asking me about it and everything, and they're all, our main concern is this and 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 this. And I was all, shouldn't you be more worried about, like, the kid? Like, they brought up more stuff, and then, like, the one officer, he was all, of course, like, of course we are. Like, why aren't you? Like, I had obviously pointed out, like, the obvious. Like, I made them look stupid. Like, they just wanted to make me a criminal. They weren't really there for the kids. Like, it was a perfect moment. He's all like, why would you even bring that up? Like, of course, like, we're talking about that.
That's a really good point, because I want to share with everybody that there's only two ways that they could take away your children, and that's one, you sign them over to the state, and they'll trick you. They'll want to make you think that hey, we can help with food and give you free stuff, and we're just here to help. We're here to help. We love you. We love your kids. We just want to make sure that you guys are a strong, united family. And then you're like, oh, all right, where do I sign right there? You just sign them over to the state, and then the next week they take the kids, and then I all the time have thousands of comments of this happens all the time, every day. This is how they trick you, and then you lost your kids, and you don't even see them for years and years. They make it so hard for you to see your kids. That's way number one. We got a fight going on here. This is cool. Way number two is that a criminal charge against you. So
I wonder if that's why they tried to push that.
That's what, if they can get you, if they could come in for a drug raid, and they got you for drugs, and they found
I'm trying to share. Sorry.
What's this one? This one's got bones inside.
Isn't that one the cutest little thing? I wish I could find more of them.
That one's pretty cool.
I know, that was my favorite one.
Kind of shows you what it looks like when it's alive, and then when you bury it out of the ground.
Look, it's dead.
So,
Look, it's dead, right?
Yep, it's dead. Well, it's alive right now.
So I absolutely believe that's why the cops are there, is criminal charges brought against you. If first, I'm not saying you, but if they could go into a house and they find drugs, heroin, and they found a moonshine still in the basement, and which all, by the way, has nothing to do with raising kids, but if they could get them charges against you, then
they have access.
Yeah, then the court's going to sign and say, yeah, we need to get these kids out of that situation, and then you're going to. So there's only two ways to lose your kids, and I think that's good advice for people to know, that the cops are there to try to get criminal charges brought against you, and then the DCFS is just trying to con you into signing over your kids. Only two ways that they can take away your kids. Oh, we'd hate that to happen. You guys seem like a loving family here, and I appreciate your time.
No problem.
Thank you.
You could say please.
We got tractors, we got all sorts of things, and yeah, I appreciate your time. Appreciate you playing with me today. So, okay, so kind of, we were done filming, and we were just kind of going over and talking about, and we come up with a couple other things we wanted to share with other people. We want to talk about, like, Mark Holmes and the situation with you knew him before, and just kind of want to point out that he's a professional child protective service agent, and when there's a child being abused right under his own nose, he couldn't even tell. Yeah. He couldn't even see the signs or even tell. And you want to talk a little bit about that?
Basically, like, again, we've known each other. I don't want to say we were close, but he knew me, I knew him, I was over there, but he couldn't even tell that I was right under his own nose. And all of a sudden he shows up at somebody else's house who's different. Mm-hmm. And so here there's nothing going on, but it was bad. So it just makes you wonder, like, what kind of professionals they're sending out who couldn't even...
You think you knew that you was being abused when you were younger?
You know what?
So they were neighbors. You and Mark were neighbors.
And there was another lady, I'm not saying names just for their sake, but there was another lady in the same ward where she, like, pulled me aside one day and she flat out asked me and my brother, and she was all, so is your mother any better? Like, we kind of, like, were like, what? She's like, well, I just know she had problems when she was younger, and I was hoping that she's not exposing you guys to them, so if you ever need help, please come to me. Like, of course, like, we didn't know what to do. Like, you're drilled, you don't open your mouth, you don't say anything, you don't show anything. And I mean, if one untrained professional could see it and was like, if you need help, come to me. But another trained professional who's been doing this for 30 years, he couldn't even, he didn't say anything, he didn't do anything, there was nothing there.
Right.
It makes you wonder, like, what kind of people, these trained people, they're sending out.
And I've said all along that there's, I call them adoptables. This one's adoptable. It's under the age of 6. Not it, he. You're not an it. But I'm talking about children in general. Is that there's adoptables. White kids are more sought after than others, and I know that's going to upset some people, but it's what the a whistleblower has explained to me. And hey, maybe you just weren't an adoptable age maybe at that time when.
I was young, but I wasn't. I don't think I was adoptable.
Under 6.
Yeah, I know my little brother was for sure, and he's white. He has blonde hair, blue eyes, like white, and I got the other genes. So.
Okay, so yeah, we kind of feel like that the guy saw abused child and didn't do nothing, and then he comes over here, guns blazing, cops here trying to find the littlest of anything because you got 4 young kids, right? 4.
4.
And then the other thing I want to talk about too that we want to warn you guys about is pressuring you to prove your innocence, and this is one of his little tricks that he likes to do. And we've talked, and he tried to do it with you. He's tried to do it with me. He's tried to do it with other people, and is pressure you. And how that works is to accuse you of, and then want you to prove your innocence. I was talking to one lady. He accused her of doing drugs, and
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
yeah, oh yeah, they just randomly you're not in this valley and not by him. I mean this is you can clearly see it's a tactic he uses. So he makes her do a drug test like every month, and it's all on her own accord. But and she's just so mad. She's like, I'm not a drug addict. I can prove myself. And what's going to happen is she's going to get tired of trying to prove herself, and she's going to stop. And he's going to make that look really bad. Like why did you stop? Why did you stop? You know, doing the drug test. There must be a reason why you stopped. It's bizarre. It's strange. And you know, that's not normal behavior. If you don't have something to hide, you should take the drug test. And again, it's that you're guilty until proven innocent mentality.
Is when all my stuff was going on after they had left, and I didn't expect them to come back or anything. He told me he didn't have a reason to come back, but and I'm gonna save names. I almost said her name. But I had an individual call me, and she's also, a lot of the tricks they do is, one of them is they'll take them Friday, so they'll have them Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then surprise, you're due in court in 30 minutes, and court's 30 minutes away, and they'll be like, oh, well, they're not here for their court session, they obviously don't want the kids involved.
Obviously don't care, and they intentionally do that.
And this lady who informed me, she wasn't a cop, she was actually a CPS whistleblower. So I was like, okay, that's really interesting. So she said, don't be home Friday. And we were, even after, like, it's still so scary.
Yeah, right. I know, I lie awake and sometimes fear of are they going to kick down my door? The other trick they do is they kick down your door at midnight in the middle. I mean, their interest is supposed to be for the children, but what they're known to do is kick down your door on a Friday night, like midnight. And
that's what I wondered. Like, I've literally wondered if they were going to kick down my door at midnight or 1 in the morning.
And then another advice I'd have for everybody is teach your kids not to talk to them. Like our 12-year-old was in school and we pulled him out. You guys all know that story. For those of you who don't, Mark Combs came to my 12-year-old school, pulled him out, pulled my 12-year-old out and interrogated him for like a long time, and without a teacher, anybody present. But my son was taught that when an adult talks to you, you talk back. You know, when you answer a question when you're asked. But we need to teach our kids not to talk to strangers. We need to bring that back.
And not just strangers, authority figures. And I hate to say that, but in today's day and age, it's not, if you are in trouble, if you need help, you can't go you can't do it anymore.
Right.
Don't talk to the authority figures anymore.
Teach your kids to to talk to your mom and dad or a lawyer present. I know I've been teaching that with my even with my my 7-year-old is if there's not a teacher or principal or somebody there or that you're supposed to be talking to, if it's a stranger, you've never seen this person before, and I don't care who they say they are, even if cop, because there's people who dress up as cops all the time.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And if it's not a teacher or your parents, you say, I'll only talk to you with a lawyer or a parent. You need to teach your
and
kids.
they have that right.
everything.
And they do have that right.
Right, yeah, they do have that right. And so we need to teach our kids with the rights that they have, and that's kind of sad.
Yeah, that's what I'm picking up too. Is the sawdust.
She was giving us a tour of the farm. We were kind of playing. We was looking at the drugs. So that Home Depot, I'll put the picture right here. Right here, that's the drugs. That's the pot that it was in, right there. And so.
And it died, but its little buddy is still alive. So.
Yeah. And then she was saying that the cop was reaching down in the dirt, trying to look for.
Yeah, he was like, I don't know what, like if exactly he was looking for to see if it was freshly planted or what. But
careful, you don't get poked by a needle in there.
Yeah. You gotta look out. That's where I hide my spoons, man. But he was like moving the sawdust, and I was all, dude, and like I didn't say anything, but then like checked, and I was all, the butthead didn't even put the sawdust back. Like.
Took the sawdust away and didn't put it back?
Yeah, he didn't put it back. Like I was all, I need that to keep my plant healthy.
Thank you for your time and sharing this with us. Is there anything else you wanna?
That's it.
So guys, know your rights, and don't work with CPS. They're not your friend. They're your enemy.
Even if you know them from your childhood, they're not. Don't even try.
That's right. Hey guys, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.